Am I the astronaut for refusing to allow my wife to host holiday dinner for my son and daughter-in-law when they disrespected her by not inviting her to their wedding? I am a 55-year-old male. My wife and I have been married for 10 years. I have a son with my ex-wife. I met my current wife 2 years after the divorce. My current wife is 35. My son was 15 when I met her. She has always tried to be good to my son, but he and his mother have always tried to cause problems. His mother was jealous when I moved on from her after she divorced me so she could have a chance with her new director in the hospital where she worked. When that didn't work out, she tried to come between me and my then girlfriend. As she stated, she wanted me back. I'm telling you all of this so you can understand the BS my current wife went through and why I won't allow this dinner to happen. Okay. When my son and his girlfriend decided to get married, they sent an invitation with just me on it. When I asked why my wife's name was not on there, my son said she didn't want her there. Now, my wife has spent money on my son when he was a teenager and made it possible for me to give him things that he wanted at that time. She sacrificed things that she wanted to do so that I could be there for him. When we got that invitation, my wife said it was perfectly fine and to go and have a great time. Well, I went to the wedding. This was in April of this year, and my wife did her thing. Now, last week, my ex-wife informed me that she was going to go up to Tennessee for Christmas with her new boyfriend, and that if we wanted to host Christmas dinner for my son and his wife, she was fine with it. I said nothing because it's not any of her business. My son asked me about it a few days later, and I told him that we will absolutely not host Christmas dinner at our house because my wife was not invited to their wedding, and she will not be used and disrespected in her own home. I made it clear to him that this house is the majority hers, and she got the loan, and I pay the mortgage just in case he tried to say that this was my house. He got upset and stated it was not fair to just exclude him and his new bride. I explained to him that I'm making plans with my wife to go to a nice restaurant and have Christmas dinner. My wife's family lives out of state, and so does my family, so it's not a big celebration. I told him he could spend Christmas with his wife's family for dinner, and that we had planned to just drop his and his wife's gifts off to them. Oh, he's still getting your gifts, so... My son called me a piece of shit and an asshole for not making his wife feel welcomed. Sweet irony, how we meet again. I reminded him that he never made mine feel welcomed either, and not inviting her to the wedding was the icing on the cake. Hey, it's punny, right? I'm not choosing my wife over my son. I'm demanding respect for her in her own home. I feel justified. However, my son told his crazy mother, and she has been harassing my wife on the phone about how she has broken my son's family. I called her to remind her that she was trying to have an affair when we were married and divorced, and she divorced me. Now my son won't speak to me. My current wife said she appreciated me standing up for her, but would like to see us mend our relationship. Okay, this is 100% NTA for me. And the kicker for this for me was that I don't like that OP still went to the wedding without standing up for his wife then, but I understand it's your kid's wedding, right? But I think allowing that or still going instead of taking a stand there and fighting for it more probably could have prevented a lot of this shit later on. His ex-wife obviously likes to stir the pot and likes to create trouble. Her reaching out and saying that she was going to be out of town, and if he wanted to host Christmas dinner for their son, she was okay with it, was a chore. She handed him a chore, right? And his son and his son's wife are somehow incapable of like cooking and hosting their own meal because it's like they've got to go to someone else's house to be able to celebrate. So at this point, it's like, cook your own damn dinner. And then so somebody giving you that chore whenever they didn't respect your wife, and then you telling them that and saying, hell no, we're not doing that. And then them saying, you're singling out me and my wife. It's like, sweet irony. And for OP's son not to be like, oh, you know what? This makes sense. This seems like a life lesson. I don't want a valuable life lesson. He seems like a spoiled little shit to me. And there may be more to this story here, but this is an NTA for me. You can't treat people like shit and then expect them to do you favors. And we see this all the time, and it baffles me. It just straight up baffles me how people can treat other people like shit and then be like, I would like to ask you to do me a favor, and have like nothing stops them. No filter stops them to think, hey, you know what? You treated that person like shit before. Maybe you shouldn't. No, they're just like, yeah, I'm going to ask. That's some real entitlement. Not a fan of the attitude here. I understand, OP, I understand your wife's position here where she says she appreciates you standing up for her, but she wants to see you mend your relationship. I get that. I get it. However, I think the pain that this situation is causing you right now will fade. This pain will fade unless your ex decides to make a continued stink about it for an extended period of time, which could be possible. From what you've told us about her, it could be possible. However, you've taken a stand for her. I think that pain will fade and she will be happy and be thankful later on that you did take this stand. I wish you had done it sooner, but it had to be done at some point here. And for both your ex and your son to be willing to treat you like shit and then expect special treatment, expect you to cater to them. Like, what? I would try to dive into this a little bit more, OP, and explain further the lesson that you're hoping is learned here and offer a path to redemption. Offer a path, let them know what they need to do to make up for it and how they need to apologize to your wife. Right now, there's no path to mending this at all. There's no sentence for them. There's no penance for them to be able to work their way back into your good graces. You've just said, nah. If you want this to be a true lesson and if you want them to better themselves as people, I think giving them a path to that is a good thing as a parent. But NTA, you're not the asshole at all for what you did. You were completely justified. There you go.